Welcome to Little Dreamers Bedtime Stories, where gentle tales come to life in calm, cozy voices made to help little ones relax, unwind, and drift softly into dreamland. Tonight's story is a warm, familiar classic about curiosity, kindness, and learning to be thoughtful. So settle in, snuggle close, and let your imagination drift into the quiet, whispering forest. And if you're enjoying these peaceful bedtime moments with us, we'd be so grateful if you tapped like and subscribe. It helps our little dreamer family grow and lets us bring you even more soothing stories. Now, this is the tale of Goldilocks and the Three Bears.
Little Dreamers Bedtime Stories.
Once upon a time, there was a little girl named Goldilocks. She had bright golden hair and a curious spirit. One day she wandered into the forest, following the sunlight as it danced through the leaves. She hummed a cheerful tune, unaware of the adventure waiting just ahead. On this particular morning, the forest seemed especially magical. Sun rays streamed through the leaves in glittering beams, and tiny white flowers dotted the ground like little stars fallen from the sky. Goldilocks hummed as she walked, hopping from stone to stone, stopping to examine interesting mushrooms and shiny pebbles. She followed the path farther than she ever had before, carried by a feeling of adventure she couldn't quite explain. Soon the forest grew quieter, as if holding its breath. The air felt cooler, and the tall trees bent gently toward one another, forming an arch over her head. Goldilocks tilted her head up, admiring how the leaves overlapped like green-stained glass. Then she noticed something unusual, a curl of thin chimney smoke rising ahead, almost blending with the pale morning sky. She parted a curtain of ferns and gasped softly. There, nestled between two tall oak trees, stood a little cottage painted in cheerful colors. Its round windows sparkled. The front garden was tidy and filled with bright flowers, and the chimney puffed soft swirls of steam that smelled faintly of warm oats and cinnamon. Goldilocks blinked. She didn't remember ever seeing a house this deep in the forest. Who lived here? Why did it look so cozy and inviting? Her curiosity tugged at her like a warm, gentle string. She took a careful step closer, then another, until she was standing on the little cobblestone path leading straight to the front door. Everything around her felt peaceful, so peaceful, in fact, that she forgot to feel afraid at all. "I wonder who lives here," she whispered, brushing her curls behind her ear. Her heart fluttered with excitement. And before she truly decided to, she reached out her hand and stepped toward the door. Inside that cheerful cottage lived a family known throughout the forest, not because they were loud or fearsome, but because they were gentle, polite, and always smelled faintly of freshly cooked porridge. They were the Three Bears: Papa Bear, tall and sturdy with a deep voice; Mama Bear, warm and thoughtful, with the softest fur; and Baby Bear, small, sweet, and endlessly curious about the world. That morning, the bears had prepared a hearty breakfast. Papa Bear stirred the pot while Mama Bear sprinkled cinnamon, and Baby Bear tried very hard not to tap his spoon impatiently. But when Papa Bear lifted a spoonful to taste it, He huffed in surprise. "Too hot," he rumbled. Mama Bear checked her own bowl. "Mine too," she agreed. And Baby Bear scrunched his face, blowing on his spoon. "Ooh, still too hot." So Mama Bear suggested a short forest walk to help the porridge cool. They stepped outside, closing the door gently behind them, and wandered into the bright woods, chatting about berries, acorns, and Baby Bear's plans to build a mud castle later. Just minutes after they disappeared behind the trees, Goldilocks arrived at their doorstep. She peered in through a round window. The cottage looked tidy, warm, and safe, like a place filled with laughter and good smells. She knocked lightly, hoping someone might answer. Tap, tap, tap. Nothing. She tried again, a tiny bit louder. Still nothing. Only the soft rustle of trees and the quiet morning air. Goldilocks chewed her lip. She knew she shouldn't enter someone else's home. She really did. But her curiosity pressed at her like a friendly nudge. Maybe the owners wouldn't mind if she just peeked inside, just for a very small moment. She pressed her hand against the door. To her surprise, it swung open smoothly, as if inviting her inside. The moment she stepped in, she gasped. The cottage was even cozier on the inside. Sunlight streamed through the windows, casting golden patterns on the wooden floor. Handmade quilts hung neatly on the walls, and everything smelled of warm oats, honey, and forest pine. Goldilocks placed a hand over her heart, enchanted. She didn't know it yet, but she was standing right in the Three Bears' home. Goldilocks wandered deeper into the cottage, taking slow, quiet steps. The kitchen table was set neatly with 3 bowls of porridge, each steaming just a little, as if they had been poured not long ago. Her tummy gave a loud rumble, loud enough that she quickly pressed her hands to her stomach and giggled softly. She approached the biggest bowl first. The bowl was large and sturdy, decorated with little carved paw prints. "This must belong to someone very big," she whispered. She dipped the spoon, swirled the porridge, and took a tiny taste. "Ouch," she whispered, fanning her lips. "Way too hot." She backed away and moved to the second bowl, a medium-sized one decorated with little flowers and leaves. She took a careful spoonful. "Oh, brr," she said with a shiver. "Too cold." Finally, she turned to the smallest bowl. It was cute and round, with cheerful blue stripes. Goldilocks lifted the spoon and tasted it gently. Her face lit up. This one is just right." The porridge was warm and comforting, like a soft hug from the inside. She took another bite, then another, and before she realized it, she had eaten the entire bowl. She gasped, looking at the empty dish. "Oh no, I didn't mean to eat it all," she murmured, placing the spoon down carefully. Trying to distract herself from her slip, she wandered to the living room, where 3 chairs were arranged in a neat row. The first chair was enormous, made of dark wood with thick cushions. She climbed up, but her legs dangled high off the ground and she wobbled uncomfortably. "Much too big," she said. The second chair was elegant and soft, decorated with embroidered flowers. She settled into it, but sank so deep she felt swallowed. "Too soft!" Then she spotted the smallest chair, a little wooden one with a cushion that looked handmade. She sat gently. "Ah, just right," she whispered, smiling. But the moment she shifted her weight, crack! The chair split beneath her, sending her tumbling to the floor. Goldilocks gasped, jumped up, and brushed off her dress. Oops, that definitely wasn't right. Her cheeks warm with embarrassment, she tiptoed away, hoping nobody would ever know. Still feeling a bit flustered from the broken chair, Goldilocks quietly climbed the wooden staircase leading to the second floor. Each step creaked softly under her feet, as though whispering gentle reminders to be careful. Up she went, drawn by the warm light spilling from a cozy bedroom at the end of the hall. Inside, she found 3 beds all lined up neatly. The first bed was huge, covered with a heavy quilt stitched with forest scenes, mountains, pine trees, and bears. Goldilocks carefully climbed onto it, settling down with a little bounce, but the mattress was firm, almost like lying on a wooden plank. She wriggled, frowned, and shook her head. "Too hard," she whispered. She slipped off and walked to the second bed. This one had a fluffy, cloud-like quilt in shades of soft green and cream. Goldilocks lay down, sinking deep into the mattress until she felt like she was being swallowed by a marshmallow. She giggled, then struggled to sit up again. Too soft. The third bed was the smallest, with a quilt decorated in cheerful colors: sky blue patches, little hearts, tiny suns. Goldilocks climbed into it and felt a perfect balance of softness and support. She curled up, pulled the quilt to her chin, and smiled dreamily. "Just right," she whispered. The warmth of the bed, the calming scent of the cottage, and the gentle hush of the forest outside washed over her. Her eyelids drooped, her breathing slowed, and without meaning to, she drifted into a soft, peaceful sleep. Meanwhile, the 3 bears were returning from their walk. Baby Bear chatted excitedly about acorns he found, and Mama Bear hummed a cheerful tune. As they approached their home, Papa Bear paused. "Do you smell that?" he rumbled softly. "Something unusual." They stepped inside. Papa Bear looked at his bowl. "Someone's been eating my porridge?" Mama Bear gasped. "Someone's tasted mine as well." Baby Bear stared at his empty bowl. "Someone ate all of mine." They moved into the living room. Papa Bear rumbled, "Someone sat in my chair." Mama Bear touched her cushion. "Someone sat in mine, too." Baby Bear let out a tiny squeak. "Someone broke my chair." They climbed the stairs together, quietly as the morning mist. Papa Bear looked at his bed. "Someone's been sleeping in my bed." Mama Bear whispered, "And in mine." Baby Bear ran forward. "Someone's sleeping in my bed right now." Goldilocks stirred, blinked, and found herself face to face with 3 very surprised bears. Goldilocks froze. Her breath caught in her chest. 3 bears, real bears, stood before her, their eyes wide, their fur slightly ruffled from surprise. For a moment, the world felt still and silent, as if everything, even the forest outside, paused to see what would happen next. Papa Bear stepped forward, but instead of growling or roaring, he simply folded his big paws. His voice was deep, but not angry. "Young lady," he said gently, "you've had quite an adventure in our home." Goldilocks swallowed, her cheeks warm with guilt. I'm so sorry," she whispered. "I didn't mean to cause any trouble. I was curious, and, well, your home looks so cozy." Mama Bear softened. "Curiosity is a lovely thing," she said, "but we must always be respectful of others, homes, and belongings. You wouldn't want someone entering your house without asking, would you?" Goldilocks shook her head quickly. "No, never." Baby Bear stepped forward, hugging his patched quilt. "You broke my chair," he said, not angrily, just sadly. Goldilocks knelt down to his level. "I'm really sorry about that. I didn't mean to. I should have been more careful." Baby Bear's small face brightened a little. "It's okay. Maybe Papa can fix it." Papa Bear gave a warm nod. "I can. But what we'd really like," he added kindly, "is for you to remember this lesson." Goldilocks stood up straight, smoothing her dress. "I promise," she said. "I'll always ask from now on, and I'll try to be thoughtful even when I'm curious." Mama Bear smiled softly. "That's all we wanted to hear." Baby Bear shyly added, "Maybe next time you could visit properly, and we can all have porridge together." Goldilocks' eyes lit up. "I'd like that." The bears walked her to the door, waving as she stepped back onto the cobblestone path. Goldilocks glanced back one more time, smiling at her new friends. As she made her way home through the peaceful forest, she felt warmer, wiser, and proud of herself. Curiosity could lead to wonderful discoveries, but kindness and respect made each adventure truly meaningful. She skipped home softly, and the forest hummed around her, as if approving her promise. Thank you for listening to this gentle retelling of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Stories like this remind us how important it is to respect others, to be thoughtful, and to make kind choices, even when curiosity leads us somewhere new. As you settle into sleep tonight, let your mind drift softly, knowing that each day offers a chance to learn, grow, and become a little wiser. If you enjoyed this bedtime story, we'd love for you to like the video and subscribe. It helps our cozy storytelling corner grow and brings more calming tales your way. Sleep well, little dreamer.
Good night.